Chelsea Handler.
Thank you. Welcome to Jimmy Kimmel Live. I am your guest host, Chelsea Handler. Hosting this show has taught me that a woman can do anything a man can do when he's on vacation and doesn't feel like doing it. We have a lot to get to, starting with the explosive hearing in Washington. It turns out Donald Trump was even more of a bag than we originally thought. We heard some truly insane testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Cassidy painted a very unflattering portrait of Trump's behavior on January 6th, including the little bitch fit he threw when the Secret Service wouldn't let him go to the Capitol during the riot.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol."
And when grabbing the steering wheel didn't work, he grabbed the car by the Fortunately, Trump sat back down and patiently waited for his car to arrive at the White House. Just kidding. Of course, that's not what he did.
Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
That is no way to treat a Secret Service agent. That is how you treat a contestant in the dressing room at the Miss Universe pageant. Sadly, there is no footage of Trump grabbing the wheel, but I imagine it would look something like this. Hutchinson also relayed details of what happened when Trump's Attorney General, Bill Barr, told him there was no evidence of election fraud.
The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall, which was causing them to have to clean up. So I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off the wall to help the valet out.
Melania also has to wipe things off the wall after their annual Mar-a-Lago penetration. And if you think the ketchup story is a bit off, Trump apparently did stuff like this all the time.
Are there other instances in the dining room that you recall where he expressed his anger?
There were several times throughout my tenure with the Chief of Staff that I was aware of him either throwing dishes or flipping the tablecloth.
But those were just his play dates with Rudy Giuliani. Speaking of my baby, Rudy Giuliani, he has been making the rounds on TV claiming he was assaulted at a ShopRite over the weekend. But even the super right wingnuts like Greg Kelly are not buying it.
I gotta be honest, it doesn't look that bad, but I understand that looks can be deceiving.
You know, that was the woman who was rubbing my back, not the guy who hit me. You're watching. So that woman gave a statement to the police that the guy hit me so hard that she herself almost fell from the reverberation of it.
Something tells me this isn't the first time Rudy has exaggerated the size of something. Like his tiny little micro penis. Republicans are getting very touchy about touching. As democracy hangs by a thread, this is what Tucker Carlson is worried about.
But Nancy Pelosi still tells us she loves kids. So we kind of took her at face value until we saw this tape from last week. This tape shows Nancy Pelosi elbowing the child of Republican Mayra Flores, who just won a congressional seat in South Texas. So there's Nancy Pelosi elbowing a little girl who got in her camera shot. That tells you a lot.
Oh, Nancy's an elected government official. She needs to act more dignified, like trying to strangle her own security guards in a movie vehicle. But obviously, that was clearly an accident. And that's coming from me, someone who is not a fan of children and has been elbowing them for years. In other depressing/exciting news, we all remember Jeffrey Epstein's wingwoman, Ghislaine Maxwell. Guillermo, is it Ghislaine or Ghislaine?
Oh, Ghislaine.
Giz.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever, who cares? We'll just call her Giz for short, okay?
Yeah,
Giz was sentenced to 20 years for serving as Epstein's personal groomer, and she has apparently found a new calling. She is teaching yoga to all other inmates. Her specialty is child's pose. According to one inmate, Maxwell introduced herself to the other folks in the jail unit, which took them by surprise, which is weird because making introductions is kind of her thing. Also, I would like to clear up a rumor that was going around a while back that I was on one of the flight logs to Epstein Island. I was not. And I think I would remember grooming teens with Jeff and Giz. So I am stating it here for the final time. I have never been to Epstein Island, but I did one time accidentally find myself at a dinner with Jeffrey Epstein, Woody Allen, and Soon-Yi. This is true. I went with Katie Couric, of all people. And I thought to myself, this is it. Like, I have to confront Woody Allen. There is no way, as a woman, that I am not going to say something to this man. So I sat there and suffered through the whole meal, biding my time, waiting until the very end, and just as he was shoving a piece of blackberry cobbler into his mouth, I leaned over to Woody and Soon-Yi and said, "So how did you two meet?" And then Katie Couric looked at me and said, "Okay, time to go, Chelsea." In other Chelsea news, last night I mentioned that I had 3 abortions in high school. And do you know what men on the internet had to say about that? I don't, because I don't give a But my old high school does. I recently found out my high school in New Jersey, Livingston High School, is refusing to induct me into their Alumni Hall of Fame. Jason Alexander and Chris Christie made it, but not me. Apparently, the school is upset about how much I talk about my abortions. So I've decided to start a grassroots campaign. You should donate to Planned Parenthood and then march and then vote. But after you're done with that, go online and tweet a message to the school district for my alma mater. @LiveSchools. Let them know how you feel about this gross injustice and use the hashtag #HoleForHandler. And have fun with it. Make me proud. Livingston High, the hole is in your court. You probably saw this online, but after Roe v. Wade got overturned, some pro-lifers have been posting pictures of themselves holding signs like this that say, "Please don't abort, we will adopt your baby." There is some other fine print, though. It says, "Offer not valid if baby is black, brown, gay, or already out of the womb." This is a very weird thing to do. First of all, I don't believe these people for a second. You know how when you run into someone that you only kind of know and say something like, "Oh, we should get drinks sometime," but you don't really mean it and you hope that they never text you? That's what these signs are. Someone will ask these people to adopt their baby, and the couple will be like, "Oh, sorry, this month is crazy. Let's catch up after the holidays." And secondly, "We will adopt your baby" is one of the creepiest sentences I've ever heard. It sounds like the title of a movie starring Jeffrey Epstein and Giz. Also, we finally got some thoughts on abortion from my personal hero, mentor, and sensei.
Let's start with Roe versus Wade. I thought it was a horrible decision. I think women should have the right to decide what happens with their bodies.
Is that what you think, OJ? That women should have the right to decide where you murder them? While women's rights are getting rolled back across the country, some companies are cashing in. I was recently asked to be a spokeswoman for a new female-focused restaurant chain, which seemed like a pretty great opportunity at the time, but I probably should have read the script before I signed the contract.
It's that time of the month. Time for a boozy brunch with your gal pals. So come on down to Girl Grill, the first restaurant for women only.
Excuse me, can we see the menu?
We don't have menus.
At Girl Grill, we make the decisions for you.
Cobb salad, chicken parm, salad with all the dressing on this side, and fish tacos for you, milady. Fish tacos are little tacos.
Are you menu-splaining to me right now?
Maybe just try smiling. Might look a little prettier.
Hey, I'm smiling now.
Girl Grill has 12 big screen TVs that play nothing but your favorite documentary, The Bachelor. And it's always wine o'clock here because we know women love them some mommy juice.
Oh, fun fact. Unlike women, wine gets better with age.
And when your meal is done, we add on the tip because we know how hard math can be for you.
All right, will that be cash or your husband's credit card?
We don't have husbands.
Oh, shocker.
Actually, I want to pay personally because I have a tip for you.
Kick like a girl!
Girl Grill, with over 6,000 locations in Texas, Florida, and wherever your rights are being compromised. Yas, Queen.